Digital tachographs. Downloading intervals. How often? 28 days for drivers, 56 days for vehicles. How many operators leave that right to the very last minute? And then they miss the deadlines. It's a maximum 28 days between driver card downloads. It's a maximum 56 days. It's like a 4.5-hour driving limit. It's a maximum. It's not something that you should get close to, and if you go over it doesn't really matter. What if the drivers save time, because these downloading are a real pain, aren't they? The length of time it takes to download your actual unit. So I'll only do a part vehicle download. But if the vehicle's been stopped at the roadside and VOSA take a download from the vehicle unit, your next vehicle unit download only goes back to the time that they've last done it. At which point your drivers need to communicate, because they need to do a full vehicle unit download. Okay? They need to know how to do manual entries, and they need to make sure that they keep their printouts recorded properly. If they're using printouts to communicate something, a wrong mode, the emergency exceptions, something like that, they need to communicate it in black and white on the back of that printout, and you need a system to record it and keep it and file it. Because when it comes to the interview and the driver says, oh, I gave them a digital printout, and the company goes, no, he didn't. Trails. Paper trails. Okay? There is a case going with which I've got at the moment where there's a number of occasions where drivers have said they've produced, where the company are being charged with failing to produce the records. On your reports from drivers, the infringement reports, do you review them to check them for the accuracy? Has whoever's been analysing them put them in properly? A few years back I was with a company and they had, I was going through the infringement reports, and this report said the driver had 1 hour and 36 minutes daily rest. I said, should we have a look at this? Can we pull the charts out? So we pulled the charts out. 1st of June, 2nd of June, day shift, day shift. I said, there's a chart in the middle here that's been reported for a night shift. We found out that that report was actually dated, that other report, chart was from the 1st of May, that had been put in under the 1st of June. Now, the analysis have passed it and sent it out without checking. The transport manager's gone, oh, it's got an offence, can you come and sign it? So he comes and signs it, and it gets filed away for a driver that's had a 1 hour and 36 minute daily rest period. That can't be right, surely. Are we paying lip service to the actual presentation of the reports? How do they get them to the drivers? I know the shifts are strange and sometimes you don't see a driver for a while, but to post him the report, to put it in with a wage package, to stick it in his pigeonhole. As an obligation, as an operator, you have an obligation to make sure that he understands. You have an obligation to prevent the repetition of that offence. And the only way you can do that is presenting that offence to him and explaining it to him, telling him why it's being committed. Does he understand the regulations? The retraining, getting the charts annotated, not the charts, the printouts annotated, the reports, saying what you've explained. So there's that paper trail. So when it comes to somebody coming in and they say, can we see the records for that driver, you have a full time scale of everything that he's done. Everybody's doing it is no excuse. Undisciplined drivers lead to suspensions and fleet cuts. You have to have a process. You can't hide behind well, I had to do it because so-and-so's down the road is doing it. That's going to get you absolutely nowhere. Your systems have to be sufficiently robust. You need some sort of standard disciplinary procedure, something that follows. It's a natural human tendency that some drivers are favoured by certain managers. Okay? Some driver, oh, he's a good lad, he's really good with that customer. I can't put him down a disciplinary path. You can. You've got to. If he's got a persistent habitual problem offending, you have to put him down, retraining, re-education, but if that has to go to disciplinary, it has to go to disciplinary. All right? It jeopardises their vocational licence if you don't, and it jeopardises your operator's licence if they don't. There was one case with an operator, they said, can you look at the systems? I said, yeah. We went in, said, we've got a disciplinary process. That's great, not many companies do. I said, yeah. I went through his reports, 23 weeks of his last infringement reports, 17 of which had at least one 4.5 hours offence, and on some occasions, 4.5 hours offences in 1 week. They did the chart analysis on a weekly basis, and stapled to each one, with the driver having signed it off, was a little note. And there's a driver memo. If you do this again, you'll be disciplined. On 17 different weeks. How many chances does he get? So you need to audit your systems. Whether that's internal or external is your choice, but whatever audit it is, it has to be sufficiently robust. Who does the audit? Is it a tick box audit? There's a number of audits out there. Have you got a system to collect charts? Yep. Do you analyse charts? Yep. Do you present offences to drivers? Yep. That's a system. No, it's not. It's just, have you got bits to the system? Okay. Statutory undertaking, it comes from the Allison Jones Transport Tribunal case, and I use as basically the standards which I look to try and get every operator that I work with. In our view, this statutory undertaking requires more than the operator should set up adequate systems. Well, most of them don't have adequate systems, and then leave them to run themselves. What is required is constant supervision and monitoring of those systems to ensure that they work. In other words, they direct themselves to the efficacy, the effectiveness of the system to detect drivers' hours and tachograph offences, and then the resulting action taken as a consequence of those findings. Those systems have to be more than just looking at a chart and saying that's the end of it. You need to compare charts to timesheets, you need to compare charts to other records, gate logs, manual records, and the whole system has to be enveloped and make sure that each part of it is paper trailed and works. And that includes the training, the analysis, and the follow-up procedures and disciplinary action.